Hello and welcome back, beautiful people, to Love Us Anyway, a space where we explore love, resilience, and what it means to keep showing up for ourselves and each other. So, I'm your host, Fantasia. I'm here with the amazing, dynamic Donna Ray, my sister and friend. Hey, Donna.
How you doing, friend?
And so today we're diving into a powerful topic that lives inside every single one of us, and that's self talk. And so, whether or not you realize it, we are in constant conversation with ourselves. And the question is, are those conversations rooted in truth,
Mhm.
in grace, in compassion, in love, or are they echoing old fears, shame, doubt, judgment, all of the things? And so I have Donna with me, and we're just gonna tap into it and dive in. Donna, what where you want to
Mhm.
start?
Well, I like that you posed the question because 15 years ago, I wasn't even aware of that voice. So
Mm-hmm.
at least now I'm aware. And I think most often it is something kind of berating or shaming. That's what
Mm-hmm.
happens first. But at
Yeah.
least now where I am in life, almost right behind there, it's like slow down. You're doing well. Take your time. It's gonna be okay. Like almost immediately past that. And just like getting ready for this call, I felt myself rushing and talking bad to myself. And then I
Mm-hmm.
was like, it's okay, Donna. I mean, like immediately that more loving voice came right behind it. So that self-talk, at least what I've observed, is that it's almost constant is when I'm awake. So from the
Yeah.
moment I open my eyes until I like fall asleep, there is a dialogue going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's real. And self-talk, like you said, is that inner dialogue, that running commentary we have about who we are, what we're doing, how we're showing up in the world, how we're showing up for ourselves. And the truth is, the way we speak to ourselves really shapes how we see ourselves. So it shapes how we heal, how we grow, how we love other people. And sometimes the voice could be uplifting, right? Sometimes the voice could be saying, like, you got this, right? Or I'm proud of how far you've come. Or other times, though, it could be real harsh, like you mentioned, like, you're not doing enough. Why do you always mess up and get in our own head and way? But today, just being able to just pause even in that and checking in on that voice and even more where we're going, um, with that.
So I think this was like the summer of 2016. I was on a retreat, and one of the activities, I forget what the prompt was, but it was draw a picture of um, something that might be stunting your progress, right? So you draw
Mm,
the image, and then you work with a partner, and then so this is in the moment and somebody's facilitating and asking the questions. So then to your partner, you describe a little just briefly and then show them the picture. And so it's at these moments. So you don't get a chance to really get in your head. And one of the
mhm,
questions was, well, what's the voice?
mm,
Like whose voice is it?
mhm,
And then I had a response for that. And so that was probably the first time I could really identify the voice. But
mm,
since that time, so almost what, 9 years later,
mhm.
that was probably something established as a young girl. But like now it's my voice, right? Like
Yeah.
I was pointing outward saying that this person is making me and I feel. And so now some of that is has been my experience, and I continue to talk bad to myself. I continue to beat myself up even though that initial voice was um, kind of hardwired, but now I see
Mhm.
that I'm responsible. So yeah. And
Yeah.
when you ask that about healing, so I recognize it. And I think that's where the grace comes in for me, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, is it, if I'm a little late or if I forget something, right? Is it that bad? At least the voice from previous times had me feeling that way, where I would just be down. I would overeat over it, overdrink over it. And so I'm in
Mm.
a much different place.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Observation, as we talked about last week. Good noticing, right? On what that self-talk kind of um produced. Speaking of observation, checking in from last week, we said that we had homework, and I know we pivoted just a bit, but you saying the word made me think about it. And we did do our homework, y'all. So hopefully y'all did too. Um, we checked in with each other, so maybe have an accountability buddy is nice, is supportive. We did Marco Polo to kind of show our areas too, and kind of talk through what we experienced, or even practicing in the way of showing the observation to see what the other person observed as well. We did voice notes and checked in. And so, yeah, it was a dope experience to try on. And now just really incorporating it, because it is a mindfulness practice, even though people get kind of, they bent out of shape sometimes around the word or meditation or whatever. But observing things is a practice of just noticing, being present and without judgment, just seeing what comes up for you. And so, Donna, how was your experience with
And
the
and I think that the timing of that topic and then today tie together nicely
Mhm.
because doing those observations, I really could hear that self-talk. And
Mm,
so a few times each practice, I was able to bring my attention back to my breath or to my body. So
mhm,
I could observe all of that mind chatter, but then just keep coming back to me, keep coming
mhm,
back to the breath. So I think that's why I can kind of pull apart how,
mhm,
how some of the sentences I was telling myself
mhm.
in this past week.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And even if, I don't know, maybe before we end, we can have like a mindfulness practice or a practice to just kind of bring awareness to like even our inner voice, and even in this moment, to those who are watching or listening, wanting to challenge you a bit, and myself too, to be more intentional about the words we speak internally. And so what I've learned is we wouldn't let someone talk to our best friend or our loved one the way that we sometimes talk to ourselves. And I'm sure some of you have heard that before, right? So if we flip the script a bit, instead of saying, I messed up again, try, I'm learning and I give myself grace. Donna spoke to grace early on. And maybe even instead of saying, I don't look good today, try, this body holds me, this body supports me, I'm grateful for it, right? This doesn't mean we ignore growth areas. It means we nurture them with love and not shame or blame or judgment. And so I think that's important and also powerful in how we kind of narrate those self-talk sessions within ourselves. So finding different ways to kind of navigate the words that we use and that we speak out into um, the world.
And that's a nice progression, right? So with the observations, when you notice whatever maybe that negative self-talk, then find a way to come back around on that, right? So like I don't like my behind looks big in these jeans. Girl,
Mhm.
look at that shape you carrying with yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like the quicker that we can come back around on that, then we're chipping away at it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a practice also.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I know I start to hear how often I just kind of punch at myself
Yeah.
over minor or trivial everyday human experiences.
Yeah.
So now I that would be a great like part extension to what we started last week.
Yeah, I think that's cool. And then even when you talk about appearance, I think about how often like we look in the mirror and see the reflection of ourselves and start picking apart a whole bunch of stuff that people probably don't pay attention to. And even if they do, they love you anyway, loving us anyway, right? So even for me, Like I was just sitting here thinking, I know I talk about my dark circles that I grew up with, and it's kind of hereditary, but then also that probably lack of sleep, iron, all whatever. But it's part of me. And but at the same time, I'm dope and I'm beautiful anyway. So, embracing whatever that naturalness or whatever is a part of me. Um, and navigating even like my self-talk when I'm looking in the mirror, right? We were just talking about our locks before we started, and I remember starting like really like up here short and kind of crying, and Donna was, I had a shoulder to cry on in the process. And now I'm like, okay, now look at my locks now, look at yours, so just giving ourselves a lot more grace and flexibility in that way, especially when we can really, really kind of chip away at our own appearances, or the dialogue could be something, about work or how efficient we are or not, like just really being mindful of that. Yeah.
I love it.
I would love to do like a little short practice before we close out, if that's okay, Donna.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to guide us in like a 2-minute practice, right?
Okay.
Live in the moment. All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
All right. Calm to be comfortable. So you might take a moment just to adjust yourself, sit forward, back, maybe lean side to side, roll the shoulders back, crown of the head to the sky. And if you're seated, move yourself away from the back of the chair so you're sitting more upright and bring the feet flat. Rest the hands on the top of the legs, palms down or palms up. And depending on where you are, maybe you close your eyes or soften your gaze. And just let my words guide you. Maybe you notice your breath. Maybe it's at the nose or your lips. Allow your arms to be heavy, your belly soft, and feet resting on the earth. Allow some of the tension to settle or maybe even dissipate. And whatever is happening in the room that you're in or outside the room, just let it be and play softly in the background of your mind. And as thoughts arise, just watch them like a balloon with a long string moving its way up into the sky. And do that over and over and over again. We're training the mind to rest with the heart. So you keep bringing the heart back or the mind back to the body, back to the breath, and gently and with a light touch. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Feel your own warm touch. Send yourself love wrapped in gratitude for this moment, for all the ways you show up for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for the community. And lock that in, knowing that you can come back to yourself. As you're ready, lift your gaze or open your eyes. Come back to the screen. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Love Us Anyways. Thank you, Fontashia.
Oh, thank you, Donna. That was sweet. That was sweet. And thank you for that practice. And as always, thank you for being here. And everyone else, thank you for listening and for loving yourself a little deeper, remembering that we're all learning and growing and how to love us, loving you anyway. So until next time, we'll see y'all later. Later.